Hello, beautiful souls. We're talking about self love and self care in quarantine and beyond. And I wanted to talk about boundaries again because they've never been so important and so vital, even than they are now. And I told you the other day that we absolutely need to set our own boundaries, that we need to protect our own bubble of sanity, of safety, of well being, and protect our space. But it goes both ways, really, because we also need to respect other people's boundaries. And it's especially important right now because we are forced to share a limited space with people. We spend an awful lot of time with people like we never did before, and we all go through a stressful situation and we don't necessarily react in the same way. And of course, it's very tempted for those of you who feel that you have learned an awful lot. You've been working on yourselves, you've been learning, you've been evolving, you've been growing, and you think you can help people, and you think your attitude is maybe more positive, more proactive, more creative. And if you think they're coping badly, you will be tempted to help them, to give them advice, and maybe even to tell them what to do and how to react, and that won't be very well received. So you need to learn not to do that, and it's very difficult because we want to help people, and when we find that they are very negative, we want to tell them not to do that. But sometimes we need to realize that people have to go through a certain experience in order to learn the lesson from it. So you might think they are being very negative, but they need to learn to cope with the negative feelings, and you can't do that for them. And you need to remember that when they do that, when they learn, when they grow, when they realize that they can cope, that they have learned something, that they are stronger than the pain, than the fear, than the pandemic, it gives them a wonderful feeling of strength, of empowerment, and you can't take that away from people. They absolutely need that, especially now. And when you think about it, if you have children, that's the way we're supposed to treat them. We have to let them make their own choices and experience a certain number of things, and we have to be there for them when they fall, when they ask for help. But we can't do everything for them all the time, otherwise they will be missing out on life, and you don't want to smother your children. And the same goes for your spouse, for your friends, for any person that you love and that you want to see as happy as possible. So we have to be very careful about that, because it's I know it's very tempting, and sometimes also we think we have the answers because something worked for us, but it's not necessarily good for someone else. We have different needs, we have different backgrounds and dreams also, and we don't always work in the same way. Some people will react to a certain kind of stimulus and not another. We're not identical, so you absolutely need to let people try things and see what's good for them or not, and you absolutely need to respect their feelings. If someone is feeling bad, it won't help if you tell them that they should be feeling good. If someone is depressed or angry, it won't help if you're telling them that they shouldn't be negative. They will just see that as interference, not good advice. You absolutely need to have empathy And empathy means that you respect everything, even if you think it would be better if they were not in pain, even if you think it would be better if they were not so aggressive. That's not for you to decide. It's their life, it's their feelings, their emotions, and they need to deal with them. You can offer help and advice. You can, if someone is obviously unhappy, you can say, is anything wrong? You can say, can I help you? You can say, what can I do for you? But you can't say, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. How negative, how awful of you. You can't control people. You can't try to manipulate them. That doesn't work. And it's not good for you either. And anyway, if they reject you, which they will if you treat them like that, you will feel even worse afterwards. So you have to be really careful about that. Also, when we try to gain this validation from other people, when we want to help someone, when we want to be needed, it's because we want, deep down, it's because we hope people will be grateful. We hope they will praise and appreciate our help. And if we seek validation from elsewhere, it's because we are not giving it to ourselves. If we want to help someone, it's because we are not helping ourselves. So right now what we need to do is learn our own lessons, not ignore our feelings. If you are annoyed at someone's behavior, deal with your own frustration instead of dealing with their anger or aggressivity. Ask yourself what you are feeling. What can you do to cope with your own feelings of insecurity, of frustration? How can you protect your space so that someone's aggressivity won't invade your own state of mind? You need to think about you right now, and it's very important to protect yourself and to take care of yourself. And if you learn lessons through this whole situation that we are all dealing with, you have to be proud of yourself for working so hard, for being willing to learn and to grow and to evolve. But don't worry about other people. They'll be okay. Another thing is that if you want to help, if you want to teach, if you want to inspire people, you can only do it by showing them how you deal with your own life. We lead by example, we teach by example. People will be inspired if they see that you are thriving, if they see that you are successful. They will want to do what you're doing so well, because obviously it is working. So the only thing you can do is be as happy as you can, as strong as you can, deal with things when they come up, and not try to force anything. This is a process. We're always learning something new. We are always faced with new problems, new situations, and the thing is, they come when we are ready for them. So sometimes it's really hard, but everyone deals with what they can process. We're not necessarily growing and evolving at the same pace, but we are all doing it. We are all learning something, and we are all building, hopefully, a better world. So that's all for today. Stay tuned and take care.